Well, today we start laying pavers. I'm getting pretty lazy on recording these, so I didn't show that I'd rented a compactor, but I compacted the entire footpath here behind me and all the way up to the front of the house, and also in the perimeter of this driveway, because that pavers are going to be there too. I'm not going to be laying them there initially, but at least this first little bit's been compacted. I have to add more fill later. Behind me here, the pavers, and there's one color, charcoal, which is going to be the boundary, the border on the outside edges where it meets the grass. The rest of it's something called Brazos blend, which is kind of a mottled reddish slate color. So here we go. So the first thing I have to do is that sand behind me, I'm going to start putting that down and screeding it level, and I'll be using that for bedding sand. So here I am paving, and going along pretty well. Some challenges here. I wanted this corner to line up with this, all these papered line up at this angle, because it just kind of looks funny without doing that. So that sets some dimensions for me, and it goes pretty straight. This snap line, which isn't that easy to see because it's yellow, but I've got it going in a pretty straight line. That's good. Trouble is, way down there, the patio, the front patio, I want this paver. The wind's blowing, so the strings are moving, but I want the outside edge of this paver, these line of pavers, so that it would line up down there with that paver that I've set, right there. At this point, I don't know that I'll continue these pavers along here, or I'll just kind of get them to turn in and do this kind of thing. Cut some angles, whatever. But for the moment, just to line this up, I want those pavers to line up like that. So, how do I do that? had this corner here, and it's about an inch off. Now I could kind of have that wander around and not go straight and just kind of turn it in, but that turns the way I cut all these pavers. I'm already cutting quite a few. What I'm going to try to do is play with the length of these straight ones, and essentially I'll bring these over by adjusting the width of those, and we'll see how we do that. If I'm successful, the other thing I'm trying to achieve is from this side to this side, I want it to be about 4 feet, and I want to carry that through 4 feet from there to the outside edge of there. Well, if I move this over 1.5 inches, you'll see that that will pretty much mean I don't have to cut so many pavers, and that's a good objective. So that would mean that I'll probably have to play with the width of some of those back in there too. Let's see how we go. Okay, change of plan. Those pavers are looking pretty good, the ones that are right next to me alongside the house. Trouble is, I don't want to cut every single one of those, plus it would look funny. Never thought about that initially. Well, I've realigned this string, and now that string is about 3/4 inch. That 3/4 inch means I can use whole pavers. So what I'm going to do is realign all these on the border here. I'll redo the corner so I'll get that extra 3/4 inch. Now these borders will no longer line up with the edge of that the edge of that patio. That's okay. What I'll end up doing is kind of I'll have the pavers kind of come around and do a circle, and then they'll just be red pavers, or the reddish pavers, all the way along the front edge here, which will have to be cut, but that's a lot less cutting than all of these. Well, that wasn't that hard. Now that's all pretty much just half pavers, which I knew I had to do anyway. But remembering, they no longer line up, none of the pavers will line up at the front of that concrete porch. So I'll have to cut them there, but that's a lot less cutting. So, and it would have looked funny for all of these to be cut all the way to the porch. Donna's doing all the hard work. She's taking all these pavers from that big pile over there and bringing them over on this teeny tiny antique wheelbarrow with a steel wheel, which can't be pushed. All I have to do is lay the pavers. So I'm doing all right, I think. Straight lines, but I've got to start bending it in toward what would be the circle. I have an idea what the radius would be, but how do you transfer that into a paver? I think what I'll do is each of these pavers has a beveled edge. I'm just going to cut off one beveled edge from that point down to this corner and see how steep of an angle that gives me. Might have to modify that to make it actually fit. I had to adjust the starting point back this way a bit because the curve is so gentle it was going to wind up way out there. So I've come back 3 pavers. There's my center point anchor. That's 35 feet from the outside edge of these aprons is 35 feet. So what I'm going to do is start laying pavers the outside edge at 35 feet. I'm not going to draw any lines or anything. I'm just going to set them there. I'm not going to have to cut anything because it's such a shallow angle. I don't have to really cut the pavers at all. I just leave a bit of a gap on one side. It'd be really hard to cut them in any case. So. Well, the project is moving along slowly. We lost power, the whole neighborhood lost power for 5 hours yesterday, which certainly puts a cramp in your plans. I used the time, the saw behind me was needing a new blade. I needed concrete for the edging and some wire, reinforcing wire. We took the time to go into town and pick up some of that stuff and do grocery shopping and life things, because this is time consuming. What I've been having to do now is all the main pavers are in. Now I'm just cutting the edges. My goodness, that is time consuming. I just don't know any other way to say it. Every paver that has to be cut they look like straight lines. I'll show you. Along the concrete there, you'd think that was a straight line, but the concrete is not straight. The pavers are nice and straight where I've laid them, but the concrete isn't. From in 3 foot distance, it can change as much as 1/4 of an inch, and I'll tell you, either the paver doesn't fit when you cut it, or it leaves a big gaping hole and it looks horrible. So every one has to be cut individually. That's not going to be so bad here because I'm not hard up against any concrete or fixed structure, so I can cut these pretty uniform. Then you come to these. Every one is unique, and there's a lot of them. I don't know why I did this arch. It looks nice, but my goodness. Oh well, time to get to work.